We can go live. Start.
Okay. Good morning to all. I welcome you to this panel discussion on architecture and NATA and its related aspects. This panel discussion aims to acknowledge the prospects of our noble profession architecture and the process in taking admission to it, where we come across a lot of things, including NATA exam, then a lot of aspects related to architecture, which is, I believe, we all believe that we are not aware of. So this probably panel discussion aims to create an awareness about architecture and also to guide the new aspirants. In this concern, we have three eminent panelists, Architect Raja, Dr. G.B. Satish, Professor Vinod Kumar. I would take the opportunity to introduce them. One minute. Yes. Architect Raja is a young, dynamic professional in architecture. His experience is a synergy of profession and academics, along with the league with IIA and utmost commitment utmost commitment. He is professionally, passionately committed towards profession and has been associated with a lot of professional activities as well as with the students. He has been an active member and conducted various seminars, conferences, and participated in many of them and has been a motivational speaker to students as well as to professionals. I welcome Architect Raja to the panel.
Thank you, Dr. Ma'am. Thank you so much for the kind introduction.
Yes.
Today we are actually, in this session, like ma'am will introduce. Please, ma'am, go ahead.
Sorry, sir.
In this session, we are actually going to talk about, in my discussion, I'm going to actually cover the main importance of Bachelor of Architecture. What is an architect is all about. How this profession is actually, working out. That's the very main criteria which we all need to understand. Because many of the students are not aware what is this Bachelor of Architecture is all about. It is a very noble profession. It is a self-acclaimed professionals. We are working in different. We are actually working for the upliftment of the society, and we are the people who are actually for the society and for working out a better environment to the people. If you take early time of history, the very important aspect for a human being is the shelter. A person actually he wants to protect himself, and he wants to actually build a beautiful shelter for himself. The space which was very, very important. The space which he has confined himself inside is very, very important for his living, because he wants to be private, he wants to be secure. So what the architects are doing is making a very beautiful spaces for you. Architecture is all about making spaces, making buildings, making interior spaces, making landscape with the environment, with associated with the environment. How it is different from other professions. Like if we actually take about painting, like we actually think about a two-dimensional thing. We actually think about something which is there, so beautiful, aesthetically good, and things like that. When we actually talk about a sculpture, we actually look around at things and we really admire so many aspects from that. But when we actually look into architecture, the space in which you live is actually creating some kind of beautiful feeling inside yourself. That is very, very important. Where you are living, where you are actually sleeping, where you are eating, where you are actually taking rest is very important. How do you understand the entire space? The space has to be understood. The space is for the human needs. An architect is a person who actually makes spaces for the human need. It can be anything. Say, in the history, if we actually see what is the leftover of the history, if we see what is the leftover of the history, we always find this architectural marvels are the witness or the testimony for the people who lived in that particular time. Take the example of pyramids, or take the examples of Taj Mahal. The human wanted always to actually build a beautiful structure to showcase his technology, his tradition, his culture, his environment, and his power. Like all the people who wanted to, we all see, like, pyramids are actually the place where, they bury people, where people wanted to live and create spaces. Now they actually bury people inside. They are beautiful testimony. This is where architect stands. Architect is a person who really understand what is the need for the society, what is the need for the environment. So Bachelor of Architecture is about creating spaces, creating beautiful spaces. I always reckon architecture into three parts. The practicing architecture, I always take it to three parts. One is aesthetical quality, like creative understanding. Second is about the technology, and third is about the professional management. This is what is the life of an architect. Architect is a great creator. He's like a god, like the person who creates wonderful buildings. He creates wonderful spaces for the society. It could be an interior, could be landscape, it could be an urban planned city, it could be a beautiful house, or even a toilet or a small hut. It depends upon how beautifully he's actually taking everything, how he tries to actually conceive the idea of the spaces for the human being to live. So we see it's like, whenever we actually enter any space, it's like, we feel like dancing somewhere, we feel like actually resting somewhere, we feel like, having a good breathe all over. It is about a connection of these three. How these three can be understood and attained, that can be attained and done only through three important aspects. One is beautiful, that is architectural, aesthetically so good. Second is it should be technically good, because like it should stand. So you are actually now becoming a technocrat, a person who is well versed with technology, engineering. You take a pyramid or you take Taj Mahal, wherever we go, we see that those beautiful buildings are stable and they are actually standing. So architect is a person who's a technocrat. Third is about professional management. Architect is not only creating aesthetically something, and he is not actually making that happen in the stable form. Third, he has to manage so many people. We all find in all over the world, if you see any building, you see that the building is governed by only one person. That is, it is like God. God creates all human living. Architect actually creates wonderful. The building is, you take Burj Dubai, or you take pyramid, or you take Taj Mahal, all these buildings are governed by one single person. You can have 100 number of laborers, 100 number of different professionals, but it is one architect, of course, with his associates. He makes this wonderful meaning, the creativity which came into his mind, the lighting which was there in his brain, which got materialized through the technology and professional management. So architect is not only, architectural studies are not only actually about, just making a beautiful building or just making a facade. It is about feeling each and every space. It is about feeling each and every space. So architect is not a person actually, he is limited himself to, because being a creative, constructive, and professional person, he can actually get into different kind of understanding. I've seen people are actually working in photography, people who write literature, who are actually into urban planning, the people who are actually making cities. It is a very large scale understanding. Whenever we meet, whenever we meet somebody professionally in our offices, we find we are actually inheriting the heritage, tradition, understanding what he has in his mind. If a person comes, we try to understand what is his mind is saying. That is how this Taj Mahal is created. This Ustad has understood what is there in the mind of Shah Jahan. That is the reason why he could put that emotion into that particular building. So it's just a concrete. End of the day, it is all concrete. But when we see this concrete, I mean, it's just a building material. It's all made out of brick or marble or anything. But it actually talks about an emotion. Today also we feel Miss Mumtaz is a beautiful girl. because of the emotion which has been inherited by the Ustad architect who was in charge of that building. Mullah Ustad Ahmad Lahori, who was in charge of that building, has taken the emotion from the great Shah Jahan, and he actually put that emotion into Taj Mahal. That is the way we are all working in our field today, in our profession, our noble profession, which is a beautification at the same time, understanding the emotions and feeling. We build hospitals, we build heritage houses, we build parks, we build wonderful commercial complexes, we build residences, we build roads, tunnels, everything is beautified through an architect. An architect is able to understand the things through an aesthetic way, but technologically understandable, but emotionally proactive. That is what is about architecture. That is about architect and architect's living. And of course, if you see an architect in living, architect is a very passionate guy, because we are all God. We think that we are all creators. We feel that we are all God. We actually we live in a society. We live always with the society, with the environment, and feel the peace in the society and environment. To continue with this discussion, I request others also to share in different parts of our architectural journey, because architectural journey is not actually about just architectural profession alone. I always tell people, for every aspirant, I tell you, architecture life, whenever somebody comes to me and asks me, sir, I want to study architecture, I tell him, this is the second where where you have become an architect and you are in the fraternity, because that is what we are. It is not about, today we are actually talking to you. It is about, we are going to talk to you till our time, till our lifetime. Enjoy the passion of architecture, enjoy the feeling of architecture, and be in this fraternity to understand and feel the emotion of architecture. I think in that sequence, we have our basic entrance examinations, and we have our academic life. And our honorable panel members will be talking and taking you through the journey of architecture in other formats of architecture. I leave it to Dr. Nega Bansal ma'am to continue this panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Architect Raja. Thank you for giving us a wonderful insight of the profession of architecture and the life of an architect. And it is really motivating. It has charged me as an architect, and I'm sure the others who are not architect would be looking forward to become an architect, because architecture is one professional course where age is no limit to be a part of architecture professional course. So I would now go to Professor Vinod Vijay Kumar, who is the director of CAD, that is Chennai Academy of Architecture and Design, since its inception in 2014. Professor Vinod holds a master's degree in planning from SAP, Chennai, and a second master's degree in urban design from National University of Singapore. Professor Vinod worked with ID Architects Private Limited, one of the top architectural practices in Singapore, for several years, and bears rich international industry experience in the field of master's planning, urban design, and architecture. He has globally partnered with clients and consultancies on projects of international repute, and he is an avid urbanist. And Vinod Kumar has keen interest in urban morphology, planning issues confronting the cities today, and strongly believes that architecture can make a profound effect to the quality of living of people of the urban at the urban scale. I welcome you, Professor Vinod Vijay Kumar, and would request you to enlighten the people through the journey of architectural student as well as the architecture course which a person takes up or the student takes up. Good. You have to unmute yourself, sir. You unmute. You are mute. I think you need to unmute yourself.
Dr. G.P. Satish? Dr. Sir? Vinod sir? Yeah.
Kindly unmute yourself. You're still mute. I believe you're still mute. I think host needs to unmute from their end. Raja sir, can you please unmute?
Yeah, I have unmuted, asked unmute.
Yeah.
Vinod sir, are you unmuted?
Yes, right now. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, great. My good friend Raja quite poetically and vehemently, asserted the significance of architecture as a profession. Thank you very much, Mr. Raja. And thank you, Neha Madam, for the nice introduction. Very happy to be here as a part of the panel with GP Satish sir as well. There is no doubt that young students wanting to join BR course have a diverse range of opportunities after completing the versatile BR program and get into the profession and the practice itself. I'm sure that now the students will be wanting to know much about the architecture education and how it is different from the other programs that they have on their choice list. Firstly, it is a 5-year program. Okay, and let me start with the basics first. Almost all this 14 years of schooling, the students are used to the lecture-based learning. You come to school, there is a teacher standing in front of them, lecturing, you take notes, and what happens at the end of the years, you go through a series of examination and you get your results. Okay, so the evaluation is predominantly examination-based. If the students join any other stream, such as engineering or other science streams, it is going to be the continuation of the lecture-based learning and the examination-based evaluation throughout also. Okay. And in this kind of a system, every student in the class is competing to arrive at the same answer. I'm very sure the new age of students want to stand out. They don't want to be compared with their peers, and they don't want to be chasing to arrive at the same answers. BARC is one such course which brings out which stands out really from the regular system of learning. In architecture, it is a studio-based learning against the lecture-based learning in engineering and most other courses. Again, the assessment is Viva-based against the exam-based evaluation in most of the predominant subjects. Okay, these two primary differences makes the course so much different and so much enjoyable for the students. The learning suddenly changes from teacher-centric until the school level to student-centric in architecture at the college level. Academicians who are working with engineering education are trying to shift it to problem-based learning, okay, in engineering, okay, wherein the students will be given a real-time problem and then they try to solve it or by giving it an engineering solution, and therefore the society benefits. It is going to take another 10 years to 20 years for engineering learning to become a problem-based learning fully or thoroughly. In architecture, ever since architecture became a professional discipline of study, it is project-based learning, meaning the students are given a real-life project right from the first year. Okay, every student tries to solve it in their own way and finally explains to the jury in their final viva how they have resolved the problem. This way, right from the first year of study, the student begins to get ready for the profession. Every student in the class comes out with solutions of his own, comes out with different solutions or designs. The faculty will never be able to compare two students. We never like comparison, right? Every student, I'm sure, never like to be compared with any of his peers. So in architecture, the faculty will never be able to compare two students in the class. This is the reason we say that it is a student-centric learning. We know it is a 5-year course, and because the students will have to do an internship of 6 months in the architect's office in the 4th year or the final year based on their curriculum. And through the internship, they further get the confidence to handle the projects of their own as soon as they complete the course. The students will get exposure to design right from small residences to large scale urban level projects like streets, like neighborhood, like big public projects. Yeah. And in their final semester, they will have to choose a project of their choice. Again, it is the student's choice, okay, of their liking to a sizable scale and resolve it all by themselves. Okay. The primary subject is architectural design, and there are other few subjects the students will study during the course of this 5 years also. It can be grouped under, architectural history, building services. The students will study subjects on building materials and construction, and also about the structural design. Okay. During the 5 years, the students will have the opportunity to travel a lot. Okay. Their observation, their critical thinking is all sharpened. The learning becomes firsthand and experiential. The course involves a lot of teamwork. Their interpersonal skills get much better. And through the Viva Voce method of evaluation, the students are continuously trained in their communication, their reasoning, and the persuasive skills, which are life skills needed to run any profession successfully these days, leave alone architecture. Okay, so this is one course which really hones you for the profession as well as for life. Okay, and going on to the syllabus of that any university prescribes, it is only going to be a common minimum program, and each institution has a lot of autonomy within the syllabus prescribed by the university itself. Okay. And the NATA examination, which Dr. Raja also mentioned just now, helps in identifying the aptitude of the students for this particular course, BArch. But it is just the beginning. If a student is slightly low in his manual skills, he can really pick up through the digital tools. And the student should understand that it is not an art course. It is a highly technical course. And that is why architects are the principal consultants in any project, under whom there will be an array of other consultants as well. Yeah. And once the student joins the BArch course, the institution really takes up all the efforts to sharpen the skills of the students for expressing their idea. Because like mentioned before, he's creating something new, and it is all the more important that he needs to convey his ideas through his expressions, through his tools. All those skills will be taught in the colleges right from the beginning. Okay, so this course is for everybody who wants to be creators and who knows that they can stand out and they can create something new. And the students in the architecture colleges, there will always be a series of workshops. Workshops will be a mode of tutoring for the students itself. And I tell you, the students really love workshops because it is more hands-on. Yeah? Several workshops need to be conducted for the students to understand the scope of the materials and the medium to convey their ideas, such as in painting, in clay modeling, in model making, or any other materials. There will also be a lot of technical workshops for construction, new building technologies, green buildings, understand the building performances and the building detailing. Okay, so these kind of technical workshops. And workshops and certifications to understand new softwares and tools in the market, okay, which they will be using in the offices day in and day out. Okay, the institutions will also have to keep up with pace, and they are keeping up in pace with the new changes in the technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, okay, new technologies of expressing the designs, right from 3D printing to laser cutting. All these technologies should we should be using in the new age learning. If the student walk through the corridors of any college and they walk through the corridors of CAD, they will have a glimpse of all of these, let me tell you. Okay. And the exposure through travels and exchange programs, okay, is also possible in this course. Architecture is one course which cannot be taught within the confines of the classroom. Okay. So with technologies, distances are made shorter and the learning is made much faster. Where one cannot visit a place in person, technology really takes you there. Okay. The role of an institution is not producing students for job, but it is definitely has to open up the windows to various avenues available for the student after completing BR, which I think all the institutions are doing to their heart. And to date, what is true for a fact is that those students who complete BR stay in the core architecture and allied fields. It is not like, I mean, they study architecture and they shift to some other discipline like software coding and things like that. And we know this for a fact that every student who does architecture are practicing architecture and its allied fields. Okay. And once they start a firm, every practice is able to specialize in 3 to 4 different specialities like interior design, hospitality, project management and construction, healthcare architecture, conservation, landscape design, urban design, housing, product design, graphic design, facade engineering. There are so many disciplines, and every architecture practice will be specializing in 3 to 4, not 1, 3 to 4 of these specialities based on the interests of the key core members of the team itself. Okay, so each and every single architecture college is different, my friends. So there are standard few things all the students will have to do before they join this course. Now you have internet to your advantage. Shortlist 4 to 5 colleges where you would want to study architecture to your preference. Go visit these colleges once you're free. I mean, once you're tired of preparing for your board exams now, please take a small break, go visit all these colleges in time. Okay, talk to the heads of institution, talk to the faculty members, look at the institution infrastructure, okay, see what they have done in the past. Finally, talk to the students studying there in the institution currently and take a call. Okay, you will never go wrong in the choice of institution if you do this. If you are asking, is architecture a course for me? Yes, it is. A lot of parents ask me whether it is a course for girls. Yes, it is a course for girls. As a matter of fact, almost 60% of students who are studying in any architecture college, I think, comprises of girls these days. Yeah. So please register for your NATA examination. I think GP Satish sir is going to dwell more in detail about the NATA examination in the next part of the session. Register for NATA examination, give it your shot, okay? And wish you good luck to join BR program and practice architecture as a profession in the future. All the very best. I pass it on to Neha, ma'am, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Vinod Kumar. Thank you for giving us a wonderful insight of the journey of architecture as a course. And we all know, and it would be amazing to know, those who don't know, that architecture is the only course in the entire Faculty of Engineering and Technology, which is a professional course. The other 2 courses are not under Faculty of Engineering. So we are really privileged to be a fraternity who are offering professional services. So with this, I now pass on the floor to Dr. GP Satish. He is BArch, MArch, PhD. He did his he did his master's in landscape architecture, and his area of research in his PhD is environmental planning. He is presently Director, KMCT College of Architecture, Manassery Campus, Kozhikode, Kerala. I give the floor to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you for your introduction. A big hello to everybody. And dear BArch aspirants, you have decided you want to become a creative person in future, and you want to design different typology of buildings. Coming to NATA, National Aptitude Test in Architecture is being conducted by Council of Architecture since 2006. NATA is a mandatory requirement for the admission of BR degree course in India. See, the NATA measures the aptitude of the aspirant through assessments of visual perception, logical reasoning, the critical thinking ability, the aesthetic sensitivity. So coming to NATA 2021, see, there are 125 questions have to be answered in 180 minutes. They are the multiple choice questions, MCQ, multiple select questions, preferential type questions, and numerical answer type. See, this aptitude of the BR aspirants is assessed by diagrammatic reasoning, the numerical reasoning, the verbal reasoning, inductive reasoning, situational judgment, the logical reasoning, and the abstract reasoning. Coming to the questions from the various topics, like the basic concepts in mathematics, the basic concepts in physics, the understanding of geometry, the language and interpretation. The questions can be based from elements of design, or it can be based on the principles of design, the color theory, the building anatomy, the architectural vocabulary, then the basic techniques of building constructions, and general knowledge. See, coming to the NATA 2021, it's a measure your visual perception and your observation. Dear aspirants, in future, you are going to play with different planes. You are going to play with different colors. See, for example, you can take NIFT Chennai, was designed by a renowned architect, Sanjay Mohe. So he used to play with different planes. He used to play with different colors. So this NATA will check how you are going to visualize the different planes of the three-dimensional objects. How you are going to visualize the three-dimensional objects from 2D diagrams and vice versa. And NATA 2021 is to measure your imagination, your mental ability. See, for example, Sydney Opera House, that was designed by John Woodson. See, the idea, the imagination of John Woodson is a sailing ship. So that is his idea. And that idea was transferred to the built form. So like that, you people are also going to create a lot of built form based on your imagination. See, this NATA 2021 is to measure your understanding of geometry. Okay. See, it is very simple. It is very easy for you to score. That eligibility criteria is you are supposed to score the qualifying mark in NATA is 75 out of 200. See, coming to JEE paper 2. See, there are 82 questions are there. There are 30 questions is from mathematics and 50 questions is from general aptitude and 2 questions is from the drawing aptitude. See, in the general aptitude, for example, an isometric view of an object will be given, and from that you are supposed to draw the orthographic projections. It can be like the plan, front elevation, or the side elevation. Or the questions can be related to count the number of surfaces for a three-dimensional object, or to unfold the surface of a three-dimensional object. The question can be based on some mirror image. The question can be based on to how to find the odd one. So the question can be based on the awareness about the buildings as well as the materials. And if you take the drawing aptitude part, they may ask you to create a 2D or 3D composition. And in the drawing aptitude, they will check your sketching ability. And in the memory drawing, it can be based on any activities, day-to-day life activity, or it can be an urban scape, or it can be a rural scape. So your understanding level about the scale and the proportion. So that is the main criteria for the memory drawing. So there will be 2 drawing questions in the JEE paper 2. So this is the question pattern for the NATA as well as JEE. And with that, this is the rough idea about NATA as well as JEE. From that, I will leave the session to the BR aspirants. They can ask some questions based on that. Accordingly, we can answer. Best wishes. Yeah, best wishes for the second NATA exam, which is going to happen on 12th of June.
Thank you, Dr. G.B. Satish, sir, for giving us an insight of how the NATA exam is conducted and what are the key aspects of NATA exam, which initially to the students and to the new aspirants did look like a big heavy thing. But then I believe after listening to you, probably they now realize that it is a very simple thing and it just tests the basic abilities of any aspirant or student or for that matter, anybody who wants to take up architecture as a course. So I would now like to open the floor to the participants for their questions and answers if they have any or queries.
I think they can message. They cannot unmute themselves. So they can message.
You have to unmute yourself, Raja sir, if you're speaking.
I have unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
The participants are requested to put your questions in the inbox so that Dr. Nega Bansal will take up the questions and the panel members will answer, because you will not be able to unmute yourself. Only the panel members are able to unmute. Kindly put your questions in the inbox.
Meanwhile, the participants are trying to understand this entire session and trying to understand their questions with related to this. I would also like to add a few things into this entire discussion. One is that we all know architecture is a noble profession by now, and there are wonderful prospects of architects after completing architecture, as well as taking up this profession ahead into specializations, which probably Professor Vinod Vijay Kumar mentioned, that it could be a specialization in one specific stream. It could go to a scale above architecture, to planning, to urban scale, to infrastructure scale, to regional scale. The global parameters which are now being discussed again, they are being discussed in consultation with the architects and planners. So there is a huge scope of this particular field, which is boundless, limitless, unlike engineering courses or any other courses for that matter, be it computer science, be it mathematics, be it medical science. Architecture is one course which has a lot of dimensions. Which could connect you to from disaster management to climate change to all the local infrastructure issues, city level planning. Everywhere you see, you have architects. So the prospect of architecture is really very good. Secondly, I think somebody has questions from Reena Chavan. She says, please guide to the aspirants for preparation of next NATA 21, as the pattern is totally changed and time span for preparation is less. So I would request Dr. G.B. Satish to kindly answer this question for her.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. The question is from Reena Chavan. She says, please guide to the aspirants for the preparation of next NATA 21, as the pattern is totally changed and time span for preparation is less. So you can guide or you can clarify her question in terms of how the students should be preparing with respect to NATA when things have changed in this particular year from henceforth.
Okay. See, for example, in this NATA 2021, the first exam, there was a question, for example, to count the number of squares. See, there are a lot of shortcuts, and basically it is to check the smartness of the students, how smart they are, see how intelligent they are. See, I'm just telling a simple technique. So if the questions are something like that, they want to split the layers and they want to split the squares, and they want to count based on the different layers, and they want to club and what are the possibilities. There are some shortcuts how to count the squares. See, I am just giving a simple example, the question which was asked, and there are a lot of questions based on general knowledge also. So they don't want to see in the market. There are a lot of books based on the verbal reasoning, the geometrical reasoning, and the non-verbal reasoning. Say they don't want to go through all the books, and this is a simple exam just to check the smartness. And no such preparation is required for this NATA.
Yeah.
I think we need to talk to an architectural aspirant must talk to an architect. I feel like, first step towards, coming into architecture would be talking to an architect who is nearby you, like whoever is like, just go and tell them that, you're going to attempt for the architectural examination. You'll be very happy. Maybe you'll not get an appointment for an architect if you're actually approaching him for a design, but he might be very busy. If you tell him that you are a BR aspirant, he'll be the first person to assist you. So I think you can have a talk with an architect for 30 minutes. You can approach me anytime. And any architect you can approach and ask him what is all these things. Basically, the content of this NATA 2021, which is just concluded, has got lots of inputs from architectural, subjects. So we need to get a little bit of knowledge with respect to architectural subjects and visual composition subjects, art, architecture, and visual composition. All these things are, you can actually Google it through. Basically, many people won't be knowing like what is color theory because it's very difficult. Because architects only in architectural education or in visual arts or in design-oriented programs, we'll be having color theories. Okay, so you need to actually understand a little bit of a color theory because there are questions which are asked from. Basically, it is very important for architecture. And there are some questions which are related. Sir has said it very well. John Woodson's building, about the Opera House. The concept is actually taken through some principles of art and architecture. So we need to actually know about the basic principles of visual arts. So you can, go through those books which are related to visual arts. Regarding this verbal reasoning and diagrammatic reasoning, all these things are there in internet also. You can go through this analytical reasoning. There are different parts of reasoning. When you are actually taking a diagrammatic reasoning, there are different parts of diagrammatic reasoning. So you can go through each and everything. Take an example of it from the internet because you have already the questions with you, 125 questions. Regarding riddles, language, and other part of this subject, you need to be a master because you must have general knowledge and you must be a good person with a basic logic. Now, there is a question which is asked like, Akbar wanted to, sentence a person to death. So what will you do? It is a basic understanding logically. So I will die at the old age. That's the answer. You are all very smart kids. You are all 2K kids. 2021. You are very smart kids. You would be able to actually. I have asked one of my students, asked how a truck driver can pass by a bridge if the bridge is little 1 inch taller than the truck with this. But the answer is actually going into the driver who is walking away. But basically, one of the students said, "I will deflate the tire." That's a good answer. I'll deflate the tire and I'll deflate the tire for 2 inches and I will pass the truck on. So that's a kind of a good answer. So these are the answers which you can, which you have to do it for yourself. That is what NATA is all about. As I told you earlier also about architects and architecture, architecture is not about one thing. Architecture is about psychology, architecture is physics, architecture about mathematics, architecture is about artistical understanding. Many people say like, drawing is enough for architecture. No, sir, it is not possible. You have to be a master in everything to be an architect. So it is like a combination of every aspect is architecture. No, you cannot actually know, you do understand what is a marble, but you don't know how hard that marble is, you'll not be able to actually get on with that marble. So basic understanding. And say for an example, you love Shah Rukh Khan, then if I ask you a question, who is the son of Shah Rukh Khan, or what is the name of the wife of Shah Rukh Khan, you will automatically say Gauri is the name of the wife of Shah Rukh Khan. So you must also know about architectural general awareness, because you are coming to architecture, so you must be knowing who designed the Taj Mahal. So these are the basic things which are expected.
Architect Raja, I would like to stop you here for a while, because we have one question which is coming from Piyush Patil. It has come as a direct question to me. Does a good college matters for BArch, or we should aim for SPAs, NITs and CEP? So I think Professor Vinod can answer this question and answer his query. You have to unmute yourself, sir.
What was the question again?
The question, I'll read it again. The question has come from Mr. Piyush Patil. He says, does a good college matters for BA architecture course, or we should aim for SPAs, NITs and CEP?
I'm not sure whether there is an assumption that SPAs, NITs and CEPT are the only good colleges. No, there are plenty of good colleges. There are a lot of colleges which are trying to, put forth good education. So in my talk, I also mentioned no two architecture colleges are the same. It all depends on the people who are there, because the syllabus is going to be very broad based. Okay, so even if they're going to say the students need to be prepared to design such complex buildings, or this is the level of typology of buildings that the students, that is required for the students to be aware of at a particular semester. What kind of projects that the particular institution gives also matters. Okay, and no two colleges,
I'll add few things to this, because it is something which really touches my heart. I am from IIT all through, so I have done my post-graduation from IIT Kharagpur and my PhD from IIT Roorkee. And when I have done all these things, yes, there is one thing which is there, an exposure which is given by IITs and SPAs and NITs, which is way more than the private colleges. But then that does not, demotivate the other colleges, engineering colleges or other colleges, because there are really very good colleges across which practice architecture or which teach architecture very efficiently. The person who's teaching, see, I am an IITian, but I'm working with SRM. SRM is again a university with the brand. So it is the faculties who are basically contributing or guiding students through their journey. And it is just not the IITs who can, really contribute to architecture course in terms of taking forward to the students. Why? Because architecture is a self-learning course where the involvement of faculty is equally, is equal to the involvement of students. So it is how interactive it is, so that you would come to know only if you can visit some colleges or talk to faculties or the professions of the people who are around you. If you look forward to taking admission to a particular college or particular colleges in a region, you should be talking to people around you. Secondly, IITs and NITs are always the ones which are preferred over any other institute when it comes to ranking. So this question itself doesn't, actually compare anybody with anything. IITs and they have their own brand value because of the resources which are available there. So I think that answers your question. Yeah. So there's one more question, I think. Yes. So Mr. Piyush Patil says that the question is answered. So I wish you all the best if you're looking forward to taking admission in architecture course. And of course, if your ranking is high, you would always prefer IITs. I'm sure anybody would. But then that does not disqualify the architecture other courses in other private colleges, which is really good at a lot of places. It is really good. So with this, can I wind up the session now, sir?
We'll tell the people, the student aspirants also to write NATA examination, because the qualification of NATA examination is mandatory this time as per the regulations of 2020. Writing JEE paper 2 is okay, because you have to write JEE paper 2 to get admitted into the NITs, SPAs, and the IIT has a different stream altogether. So NITs and SPAs or government funded institutions, you must actually get into this JEE paper 2 that is scheduled on April, but today they have actually postponed the dates. So in the morning only we got a news that they have postponed that exams of JEE paper 2, the second attempt. Now you write JEE paper 2 and you get good marks in good rank in JEE paper 2. That's one thing, but you must write NATA this time. All of you must get qualified in NATA, because it is underlined in our NATA in our 2020 regulations. So beware of that. So you all apply for NATA.
Yeah. Thank you, Architect Raja. So with this, can I wind up the session if you all agree, because we are already crossing the time limit.
Very important. I just want to all of you kindly put up your name and email ID and mobile number, so that we can actually send you this YouTube recordings and any information regarding NATA or JEE paper 2 or anything which we get. Actually we are then we'll actually share that information with you.
Yeah. So with this, I would like to conclude the session. The session was addressed by three panelists, Architect Raja, Professor Vinod Kumar, and Dr. GB Satish. To start with, Architect Raja gave us an insight of the architecture as an architect, as a person, and the aspects through that could be answered by architect, which could not be answered by anybody else. We are the people who create spaces and who create marvels. And I believe what he said is probably the best part in any architect's life to hear and to be inspired. So I thank you for that. Secondly, the architect Vinod Kumar or Professor Vinod Kumar told us how architecture course is different from other engineering courses. And it is basically student-centric and studio-based, where we take up real-time problems and we come up with solutions, and that is how we learn. So it is more of hands-on based. There are various opportunities for students at various levels, just not as the architecture students. We have various exchange programs, so you get exposed to international universities as well. You can understand the various streamlines through the architecture course during the duration of your architecture course. So that makes it a very noble professional course as well. Then an insight about the NATA, which is an entrance exam mandatory for architecture aspirants, was given by an insight of the same was given by Dr. GB Satish. Now, the entire idea of having NATA exam is to have ability or to have an aptitude. By the name itself, it says National Aptitude Test for Architectural Students or Architects or Architecture Students. So the basic aptitude is, understood very, very softly in a very simple way, where you have logical reasoning, where you have aptitude towards understanding things, because architecture is only one profession where heart is equally involved with mind. So that is how the aptitude or NATA test is designed, to understand the logical reasoning, to understand your smartness, your capability to cope up with the things, which is unlike any other entrance exams, where you just go through the syllabus and you give the exam. You have to actually feel, and you have to give your logical reasoning. So with such a wonderful insight from the three panelists and the questions which were put by the participants, which were very valid, and I would thank all of us and all of you, the panelists and the aspirants and the participants, for being a part of such a wonderful session. And we look forward to taking up similar sessions for guiding the aspirants as well as for improving our knowledge about this profession. Thank you. Thank you all. So I now conclude. Yeah, yes. So we can close this session. Architect Raja, can you
Yeah.
close this session? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.